I see some people. Okay, Valencia Cosa.
Welcome, welcome, everybody.
Welcome, Valencia Cosa. Are you there?
Welcome, everybody.
Oh, yes, she is. Greetings, Valencia. How are you?
Nifukile minjani?
Sikona, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, no, we won't take too long. We're going to take just 20 minutes as Menzi, Maseko will take us through the basics and the introduction behind meditation as a whole. And the context was in relation to December and how December is such a toxic season where every single week up until we'll be recovering from all sorts of hangovers. So Menzi and I thought, okay, let's have a 20-minute engagement session to share our knowledge in relation to meditation, to be able to traverse and navigate around the toxicity of December. So that is the context behind it all in relation to wellness and spiritual wellness as a whole. So Menzi has got a short overview, introduction that he'd like to take us through.
Yes.
So thank you, Menzi. The screen is yours. They say the floor is yours. In this case, the screen is yours.
Yes. We give thanks. We give thanks for the moment.
We give thanks. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome also Dr. Zolelwa, a good friend of mine, and also Tsakani Valencia, and everyone else joining us. I will not keep repeating welcoming everyone. I will just say all protocols observed.
All protocols observed.
Yeah, so welcome everyone who is joining. A lot of you may be hearing for the first time the word IsiNtu and the word meditation together, right? So now I'll have to break down very quickly the definitions, right? To explain what IsiNtu is and explain what meditation is and why and what it is not. And then, like my good friend Vusmuzi explained, the context for today is really December, boss. The fact that December is a month, it's a holiday month, yes, but it is a month also where a whole lot of people are engaged in, people go on holidays, In here, as we are in the Southern Hemisphere, it's summertime. And according to the isiZulu language, summertime, the particular month of December is called Zibandlela. Now, the word Zibandlela, people must understand one thing. In our languages, Nguni languages, Southern African languages, we tend to describe things. Our language is very descriptive. We are not naming something randomly or according to a god or according to a deity or according to a religious proscript. We are naming things according to what happens during that time, what happens in that season, what are the energies that apply or correspond to that particular season and that time. Now, December is called Zibandlela. Zibandlela in isiZulu means to avoid the paths or to avoid the ways, which is quite an interesting and ironic thing, because in Zibandlela, during the month of Zibandlela or December, holiday time, people travel a lot. People travel home. So the question would be, why are they not home in the first place? But that's a socio-political question that we will not answer because it has to do with economics and spatial development. So people, we are not here for that. We are here for the meditation part. So during Zibandlela, people tend to drink a lot. People tend to eat a lot. There's a lot of gluttony that happens. There's a whole lot of drunkenness that happens. And with drunkenness comes a lot of accidents and things that we tend to regret in January. A whole lot of people come back with a lot of money what do they call it when you get a surplus? Not
Bonus.
deposit, a
Bonus. You get the
So
bonus.
for some people can spend their whole year's bonus in 2 weeks. Some clever ones can actually spend it in 1 week, over booze for friends, lots of meats, lots of all those things. So I just needed to lay that context so that we can understand and understand that during that month, it is important to ground yourself with meditation. Now, I said I will explain what IsiNtu is. Now, IsiNtu is what we call in isiZulu, usikompilo. Some people like to say pilo siko, but what does it mean? It means cultural way of being, just lifestyle, basically. So our lifestyles are a lot of the time predetermined and overdetermined by capitalism, and they are determined by a material gain. A lot of our lifestyle are predetermined by what we have to do to survive. Now, in this word lifestyle or sikompilo, mpilo means life, siko means culture. So, right. So, usikompilo lwesintu has been disrupted a lot. So we do not have time to meditate. We don't have time to breathe properly. We don't have time to analyze our dreams. We don't have time to look at the stars. We don't have time to observe nature. We don't have a lot of time to go to the river for a quiet walk by the river, go to the mountain. These things have been commercialized, a lot of them. If you have to meditate, a lot of the time people have to pay somebody to teach them to meditate. And that's not a bad thing. But what is happening is that a lot of the things that we can do for ourselves, we tend to commercialize, or we tend to give them to somebody, to some kind of expert, right? But usikompilo basically teaches us to return to self, to get back to who you really are, just basically by having that, what do we call it? That relationship and correspondence with nature and the cosmos, right? So that's what IsiNtu is. IsiNtu basically stands for the person, the human being, but it has spiritual connotations, and some of the spiritual connotations I will not get into today because of time. But in a nutshell, I would just say Ntu basically stands for both the cosmos or a place of origin, but it also basically means the human being, but the humane being is Umuntu, not just the human being, like anything with flesh and blood is not Umuntu. There's certain behavior, there's certain attitude, there's certain approach to life that makes you Umuntu amongst other persons. So Umuntu is a spiritually connected, focused, and a humane being, as opposed to just a human being, right? So now, a definition of meditation in isiZulu. Meditation, I personally call it Ukuzindlanzulu Zulu. So Ukuzindla basically means
Ukuzindla. What do you call it?
Zindla. Zindla is to think deeply.
Okay.
It's different from saying tabanga. To tabanga it's cognitive, right?
Okay.
Tabanga is cognitive, but also there's a part of the body which is called ucabango. Because as Abantu, we don't only think with our head, we also think with our guts. We also think with our heart, right? But when you are saying Zindla, you are talking contemplation. But as I was explaining to you, my brother Busi, the other day, that to Zindlanzulu is to deepen your level of concentration beyond is to think with your whole body. But also at the same time, as I explained to you, is to think also without thinking that your thinking is happening only here, right? So I will explain as I go through the 8 stages in today's topic. What we're going to do, we're going to go through the 8 stages of meditation and the 8, I would say not pillars, but the 8 things that you have to keep in mind and to keep in your consciousness.
Would they be like principles? Would they be like 8 principles or 8 takeaways or 8 things to look out for as you're actually meditating?
Absolutely. Okay. It's the 8, let's just call them principles, right?
Okay.
You will find that a lot of them, they sound like they are talking about the same thing, but they are not. They are all segments of your divine body, the segment of yourself, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
as I've just explained, Ukuzindlanzulu Zulu, that's part of the introduction. I explained it IsiNtu, why I'm saying IsiNtu, because abantu have to return to their original, what do they call it in computer talk? Factory settings, right? And your factory setting is to be happy. Your factory setting is to togoza, to be joyful. Your factory, your divine setting as we are created beings. Your original setting is to be at one with nature, at one with yourself, appreciating your own breath, appreciating your own thinking without feeling anxious about things and feeling a lot of tension. So meditation helps you to regain that set of non-tension. There is a tension that is good during exercise, but there is a tension that is negative, which creates stress. So we are trying to avoid that, especially in December, right? So
is it okay if we make a note of the 8 principles that you're mentioning, and then
name
can we?
Okay, I will name them. So the eight principles that you need to concentrate on with regards to meditation are Ukuphefumula. Now, Ukuphefumula is to breathe, but the word Umphefumulo is the original word for what a human is, right? So beginning at the base, beginning on the material level, when I say I am breathing, I'm also saying that I am being a human on a very basic level. So Umphefumulo is breath, right? That's the first principle. Ukuphefumula, Umphefumulo. To breathe. Umphefumulo, that's the second principle, is the spiritual being. So we are saying that a human being is not just a physical person, but is a human, is a spiritual breathing being. So
first Ukuphefumula. I am breathing.
To breathe, right?
Okay.
Umphefumulo, the breathing spiritual being. The third one is Umoya. Now, Umoya and Umphefumulo sounds like the same thing. In isiZulu, the word Umoya means air, right? So when we go through the different steps of meditation in our classes, the classes that we're going to be having, we're going to explain why Umphefumulo, to breathe, and airflow are distinct yet connected, right? They correspond with each other. So that's the third part, Umoya. It means spirit, but it also means air, right? So we're going to talk about airflow later, but this is an introduction. And how to generate good airflow, generate it on a daily basis, generate it on almost unconsciously. The more you exercise this faculty, then you will know how to do it. Even as you're walking, as you're driving, as you're dancing, as you are at work, wherever, Umoya wako is in conjunction and it is in flow with the cosmos. 4, Ukuthula. Now, in meditation, Ukuthula is very important. Ukuthula means to be quiet, but it also means, most importantly, peace. So, peace and quiet is Ukuthula. Now, the fourth part, I've also joined with the word Umsindo. So, like, that's 4 and 5. 5, so Ukuthula is 4, 5 is Umsindo. Now, Umsindo is noise, but the right kind of noise is conducive to meditation. Umsindo, which is akin to umculo. But now we're not talking songs, we are talking sound. So Umsindo is the word that means sound, right? So when you meditate, there is a process where you shut out certain sounds and let in certain sounds. Sounds that are conducive to your airflow, sounds that are conducive to Umphefumulo, sounds that are conducive to your well-being are let in, but sounds that are not, you kind of shut out.
Sure.
While you're
That's so deep, hey. That is so deep.
Wow.
So, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm listening to you, brother.
Don't worry, when we do the real work, you will know. So
but your explanations are so crystal clear, I must say. Your explanations they resonate. They resonate in the sense of they make sense.
I'm glad
in
that
terms
they do.
of, the meaning behind them. We always know there's a meaning behind key words, but the
Absolutely.
explanation behind those has
Yes.
varies from different
One of
people's
my favorite poets,
interpretation.
Mafika Kwala, one of my favorite poets, Mafika Kwala, has a poem called There's a Magic in a Zulu Word. But now we must understand that here we are talking about IsiNtu. When I talk about IsiNtu, isiZulu as a language is part of IsiNtu. Chivenda, Chitonga, Ewe, Twi, all languages, all Bantu, all African languages are part of IsiNtu. So when he says there's magic in a Zulu word, he also means there's magic in a Yoruba word. It means there's magic in a Hausa word. There's magic in there's magic in a Meduneter word. Meduneter is what they call hieroglyphics, right? So, but hieroglyphics basically means divine speech. But we won't go there. We will go there when we go to the 8th grade. When we get to the 8th grade, we'll go.
We're at number 6 now. We're at point number 6 now.
Okay.
Yes.
So
After,
point number 6. Point number 6 is
after Umsindo.
Yeah. So point number 6 is Okwemvelo. Okwemvelo means that which is natural. Okwemvelo. Now the word imvelo means both origin, which is you can linguistically say the root word is vela, which is to appear, which means creation, right? Vela, appearance, just like the name, one of the names of God in Israel is Umveli Magi, that which appeared in the beginning. So now, Okwemvelo, with regards to meditation, is connection, correspondence with nature, right? So Okwemvelo, you have to keep in mind, you have to keep in heart, you have to keep in your consciousness that nature is you. We are natural beings. So being natural beings, we have to establish not just a connection, but a cordial, happy, harmonious relationship with nature, especially nowadays, not just because of December, but because of the cybernetic universe, because of the universe that is becoming more technological, bionic, more technological. I mean, we use technology, technology is fine, but a lot of us are overexerting our relationship with technology. So you need to concentrate on imvelo. You need to keep a very clean and harmonious relationship with imvelo, right? Now, the 7th now is important. It has to do with the definition of meditation. I said meditation in isiZulu is Ukuzindlanzulu Zulu. Now, some people look at the word zindla as, you know, when you think, there's an expression in Zulu when you say when someone says uyangizindlela, it basically means like you are kind of overthinking about me, like you are thinking ill of me, you know, hey, you know. But we need to transform these words and understand that the word itself is innocent, but the connotation that a person applies to it sometimes can make a word, can corrupt a word, corrupt a particular state of being, a thing, right? So depending on your environment, on your context, and your state of mind at that particular time, you would think ukuzindla is bad. But Ukuzindlanzulu is to think deeply, right? But now, uKuJula, this simply means to deepen. Jula means something that is deep. No, let me put it properly. I want to use the right word at the right time because we're going towards the end of the definitions. uKuJula is depth, like the depth of the sea. uKuJula kolwandle. uKuJula also means on a human level, on a physiological level, it means to go in, to go inside. Now, meditation is known as a process of going inside to deal with everything that is happening inside of you in your own terms, not according to a definition by somebody else. So when you ujulile, you are not being defined by something outside or a state, whether the state of your finances or state of your peace being disrupted by somebody else. But you are deepening yourself, finding yourself within yourself, because as I said already, your natural state is joy. Your natural state is peace. Your natural state is harmony. Your natural state is to be having that relationship with Umoya wako, which is good, right? So uKuJula is very important in the harmonization of yourself with your environment, but especially with your inner self. Now, that's a 7, right? uKuJula. Now, you can do this during practice, but you can also do it, as I said before, as you walk, as you go about your day. You are having that inner peace, but it's a deep peace. It's such a deep level that anything that happens outside, it does not mean that you must not be empathetic or unfeeling towards things that are happening outside. But you know that your core is situated at your inner peace. You are situated in what is within you. You are not situated in whatever is happening. You are not defined by what somebody else says about you. Because people will say a whole lot of things about you. The world may do a whole lot of things to you. But then when you know that you are Umoya and you are Umphefumulo, all those things will not interrupt you so badly. Right? So uKuJula is important. And meditation helps you to maintain that state of uKuJula. Now, number 8. Vusi, before I go to number 8, remember I said to you, this is very important to state, that in the Western world, or in the mainstream cultures of the Western world, number 7 is a holy number. It's a sacred number. Now, I said meditation according to IsiNtu does not deny number 7 its significance. But our holy number is number 7, is number 8, excuse me. And we say number 8. What did you say when I raised the name number 8?
Infinity. 8 represents infinity.
Infinity, right. Now, there is so much to number 8 beyond infinity. There's infinity and beyond. No, most people will be like, oh, what is beyond infinity? Can't be beyond. Infinity is infinity, right? But no. I mentioned to you the spiral like this, almost like the helix, right? And I mentioned something called the Ouroboros, which for people who are going to subscribe to our classes, we're going to explain these things in detail, explaining the serpent power, explaining all those little things that are within yourself that just make up who you are. Now, number 8 is Ugukhululeka.
Ugukhululeka.
Number 8 is Ugukhululeka. Now, it means liberation, right? And that liberation is again another natural state of every sovereign divine being, because we are sovereign divine beings. We are not defined by our government name. We are not defined by our circumstances or our car or our material, anything. So Ugukhululeka basically means having freedom. The most basic level of Ugukhululeka is freedom. Now, meditation again helps you to have that kind of inner freedom that makes you listen to your intuition.
I can see the similarity with Lulu, like the Ugukhululeka. Like
yes.
my brother's name is Ugukhululeka, which means freedom.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
Ugukhululeka,
yes.
like you said
it's
now,
to be free. Ugukhululeka is a
free.
state. It's a state of being free.
Okay.
Right. Now, lastly, combined with number 8, these are both number 8. But if you want to say 9, it's still a sacred number, it's fine. But this is, for me, Ugukhululeka and this next and last word are very important, and then they work together. Ukubuyela Esimoyeni. Ukubuyela. Right. It has something to do with infinity again, because it's a thread that returns to itself. Ukubuyela Esimoyeni is to return to original state. Ukubuyela means to return or to come back to. Esimoyeni means it's a state. Isimo. So isimo also has something to do with posture. Right.
Okay.
Which again, I'm sorry, I'm giving you tidbits because we will talk about all these when we are having our meditation classes proper as we go along, right, on the other days, that my good friend Vusi will communicate to everybody. So the Esimoyeni means as a state of being, but it also means a posture. Now, what kind of posture? Posture is very important because bad posture is detrimental to your health, but good posture means well-being for you, from the above your head to the bottom of your feet. So Ukubuyela Esimoyeni is to come back to a posture that is conducive to your well-being. And then I will not go too deeply into what kind of posture is good, but people know that sitting upright is good for your back. People know that standing up and not leaning is good for your shoulders. People, there are certain things that are kind of norms, but with IsiNtu meditation, what we will do, we will explain, even according to our historical context, how we eat, how we stand, how we sit, what we do when we sleep, how we sleep, the posture of sleep, the posture when you are talking to a particular person, whether you're talking to your partner, talking to a child. Posture is almost of infinite importance because it has to do with how you stand and how you are received and how you actually appear in the world, how you show up in the world. Your posture, your state of being is defined also by your posture. But all of these threads, all of these 8 or 9, they work together to actually put you in harmony with your inner peace and your being. And so you are less anxious, you have less tension, you have less stress, and you are not likely to make what's the word? Irreverent. What's the word that we were using earlier? Irrational. You are less likely to make irrational decisions during this, what they call the silly season of Isipiti Sika December. And lastly, I use the word Isipiti on purpose. The word Isipiti is also related to the ancient Kemetic word Isfet. Now, Isfet means chaos, but Isipiti means just random busyness. You're busy, but for no profit. You're busy, but it's unhealthy for you. You're busy doing things because of compulsion, because of peer pressure or whatever, or because of your bonus.
So if I can translate, then Isipiti meaning you're busy, but busy doing nothing.
Yes.
Is that what Isipiti means?
It's worse than nothing. It's the chaos that leads to, that has consequences, usually regrettable consequences. We are pitizela. It's disruptive chaos because there's constructive chaos, but there's again a topic for a different day when you start to unpack some of these meditation techniques. And when you meditate, how come there are certain things that you need to disrupt, and there are certain things that you must make sure that they are undisrupted about your inner being.
Wow, thank you so much for that enlightenment, Brother Menzi. Thank you so much. Even already, just the overall definitions themselves, understanding what they mean and understanding what those words mean, already that has, for me personally, it moves me. It moves me. And wondering whether, can we leave the floor open for the next 10 minutes for any people to ask any questions that they may have? I guess in closing, as a summary, thank you so much for that introduction, Menzi. As I mentioned, those words, the way you define them and what they actually mean, really shows meaning now. There's a better understanding of the reason why we're doing what we're doing, the reason why we're going through the meditation, the reason why we're seeing all of the noise and all of the chaos.
Yeah.
So
before people ask, before people ask, can I also say that we can close this with a 3-minute meditation, an actual meditation.
Okay.
Yeah, so people can raise their hands, they can ask questions, but we will close with a 3-minute meditation. And I explained to you yesterday that 3 is also another sacred number, but we will not explain fully now why.
Understood.
But anyone can raise their hands, can ask any question. We are here to teach each other, to assist each other to grow. If there's any question. Some of the questions can be answered by Vusi.
So yes, I mean, the purpose behind this session is to get an introduction behind meditation and behind spirituality and behind our African consciousness, our African being. Oh, here we go. Mokhaile has raised her hand. Yes, Mokhaile. Go for it.
Sithokoze Matonga. Good morning, all of you. I have a question. The first time I came across the thing of meditation
Yes.
was around 2000, the year 2000.
Yes.
And I've been trying it, and I've been trying to experience this stillness that people are talking about, but it's not coming around. I'm hoping.
Very good question.
So what could I be doing wrong? Why? How can I? And people talk about this stillness
And bliss.
and bliss, yes, and other things and more, but I can't get to this stillness. What could I be doing wrong?
Okay, thank you for that question. No, lovely question. Should I answer? Should I respond?
Please, Brother Menzi. The screen is yours. This is your
Mohaide,
platform.
In a couple of years that I've known you, I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4. It's the second or third time that you are asking this question. And I'm happy that you are asking this question because it means you want to get to that state. Now, first, before I answer it directly, let me just say that there are many, besides bliss and inner peace, there are many other benefits of meditation, including good productivity, good mental health, as I mentioned already, less anxiety, less tension on your physical body, right? But at the same time, that peaceful part, I said it's the isimo sakho sangempela, which means it is your actual real state. All the other states of being are not quite you. They are impositions on you by the physical world, right? Everything that is causing, there is a barrier between yourself and your peace is actually external a lot of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time, a lot of it is external. It's because you are worried about something. If you begin, I'm answering directly. When you begin to sit down and say, I'm going to meditate, maybe you use some of the Far Eastern or Near Eastern methods of meditation. They say there's a particular posture of sitting. There's a particular way of breathing. There's a particular way of doing this. What is very important here is not that those methods are not important. No. It is that we as Abantu, which is why we named this IsiNtu meditation, we need to gain contextually grounded ways of approaching these things. What do I mean by contextually grounded? You need to be umuntu first. We need to first be ourselves, right? And accept ourselves. Now, when we accept ourselves, when you accept yourselves as Mohaid, you are not just accepting all the different threads in the environment that are stressors on you. You are accepting, okay, there are levels. I don't want to talk for long, but there are levels. There is first accepting, okay, I have some issues, some of them are issues, all of us have issues. Even some of the most adept meditators, they have their issues. They have maybe a talkative wife or a talkative partner who talks too much. Not just wives, even partners of many different sexes. Or they have a boss that is narcissistic or always on your case. Or you have some childhood issues that you haven't dealt with. Or you have some physical thing, or you have some habits that are not conducive to your health. So all these little things, all these little stresses are just part of your life, right? First, that's the first stage of acceptance. But the other stage of acceptance, you need to accept your real self. But now you cannot accept your real self until you know your real self. Some of the 8 steps that I was mentioning, Ukuphefumula, Umphefumulo, Umoya, these are the things that you have to meditate about on a regular basis so that you understand that when I say Umphefumulo, I've used the word umlungiswa before. I didn't use it today. But the Zulu word umlungiswa is another definition of a human being. So now if you accept yourself as umlungiswa, it means you are a work in progress. You accept the fact that I have made progress up to now. I have 10 steps of progress that I need to make, but I have made 3 steps. Accept and acknowledge those 3 steps that I am willing to do this. I have done this much. I have done a little bit of research. First, accept those 3 steps, because without those 3 steps, you can't get to step 10. So that's important to accept that Umphefumulo, Umoya, all of these things are working for you. All your being, everything in nature, again, emvelo. Remember I said Okwemvelo. All those are working for your benefit. Now, the minute you align yourself with these things in nature, align yourself with the fact that you are a work in progress, you are being righted, righteousness. Righteousness is not a state of being judged with, oh, you are sinful or righteous. No, it's not that. Rightness, according to IsiNtu, is, we use the word umhlanga, I won't go too deeply, but we use the word umhlanga. Umhlanga is a straight, is a reed. We say we come from the reed. So umhlanga is, there are many proverbs that I won't go deeply into, but umhlanga is used in many different Nguni proverbs to say that's something that is as straight as a reed, or straight as umhlanga. Not umhlanga comes from the mud, comes from the water, it comes from the mud. So it comes from a bad place, or a so-called bad place. It comes from the muddy, cruddy marshes, but it grows up and has this beautiful green shoots outside, and it is very straight. And it is used for many different things, including making your own house. But when you make the house, it is bent, it is not straight. It is bent to shape, but it does not break. A human being is akin to that reed, especially a muntu being, a muntu omuntu, right? So accept, lastly, accept the fact that you have done the steps. You will reach that inner peace once you align yourself with who you really are. And who you really are is a state of peace. Everything else that is not peace, it's not you. Non-peace is not you. But the moment you accept that your inner peace, Umoya wako, Umphefumulo wako, is actually in a state of peace, then with practice, meditation becomes a joy. And you don't have to be sitting to meditate. Your meditation is probably walking. Your meditation is probably listening to music, maybe biking. You know, maybe your meditation is dancing. Find your rhythm in meditation. It does not have to be. But in all your rhythm, remember that breath is number one. Ukuphefumula, the right way. That's something that is important in meditation. Thoughts will come. All things that are fighting with you will come. But eventually, with practice and keeping in mind the 8 principles, you will get it right. I'm confident that you will get it right.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Maseko. Thank you so much. Kabavovo, I see you, I recognize you. I'll let you speak just now. I just wanted to add on to what Brother Maseko just mentioned right now, where I find that when I'm humming, if I hum, when I hum, then there's a feeling. I get a sense of a feeling when I hum. Or when I close my eyes and I'm looking at the sun for a very long time with my eyes being closed, I start seeing all sorts of movements happening behind my eyes. And next thing you know, all of those energies become some kind of circle. I know it's the sun. I know I'm looking directly at the sun, but there's a sense of, there's a feeling of warmthness that gets warmer and warmer. So I really do, I do get a feeling or a sense when I'm in the mode. And now that you've actually defined the principles behind those 8, the definitions behind those principles, and now it gives more meaning. Especially, you know, when you mentioned the breath and the reeds, and you know, the fact that these words are connected behind the meaning, it gives more of a spiritual feeling to me personally, I must say.
My brother, before you take Kabavovo, before you take my brother Kabazela, can I emphasize what you are saying about the sun? I'm gonna quote Vandana Shiva, one of my favorite global physicists and activists, right? Listen what she says here. She was talking about quantum physics. The topic was the power of quantum thinking. The power of quantum thinking. So I quote, I made this note. All of life begins with the sun's energies and with photosynthesis. And all of photosynthesis is a photon lifting an electron out and then letting the electron fall back into its original state. Remember what I said about going back to your original state? But you are saying you do sun. In Ghana, they do this thing of sun spotting. Some brothers in Ghana and sisters, they look at the sun. They look, close your eyes. Look, close your eyes. Look. close your eyes. There's a method about it. I'll teach about it later. But it is a method of actually clearing your eyes and clearing your mind and purifying the cells in your body using the sun at a particular point in the day. You see, that Okwemvelo, again, it has to do with nature, being in touch with nature, and understanding that, as Vandana Shiva says here, all the way from India, all of life begins with the sun's energies and with photosynthesis, and all of photosynthesis is just a photon lifting an electron out, and then the electron falling back into its original state.
Mm.
Do you understand? So what meditation is not whimsical, it's scientific.
Sure, and the explanations behind it gives it a lot more meaning. I hope that answers the question that Mokhaile asked earlier on.
Kabavov.
Kabavovo, yes, sir. Next, Kabavovo has a question.
And I think Zolelo has been lifting her hand too. But
Thokozani.
Thokoza Kesha.
But I hope we answer Mokhaile's question. Yes.
KaGudu, Solwazi.
Cool.
Thank you for such an insightful session. My questions is like, like when you're sitting, sometimes you will be, because the mind is always busy, is always thinking.
Yes.
How do you differentiate when you're sitting, thinking, and when you're actually meditating? And also, how do you silence the noise during the meditation? Because like we're living in a stressful, society, life, environment. So how do you get to, because the moment you try and sit, all these noises comes into your mind and in your heart. How do you get to silence these things and be with yourself and be in that meditation mode?
Can I add one thing? Can I add one thing quickly?
Thank you for the question.
That made me think of, especially when it comes to thinking, where in relation to thinking and concept development, I come from a school of thought. Well, I've been taught to think like, for example, like Michael Wolff when it comes to concept development, where, like you said, the mind is always busy. The mind is forever thinking all the time. And what Michael Wolff said is the mind finds itself in 5 different rooms every time it's thinking. And those 5 different rooms start with the room of reason. What is the reason I'm doing this? Why? What's going on? What's the brief? And then from room 1, it moves across to room 2 in terms of what's the great work that's out there in line with whatever the problem is. Even if you're writing a speech or there's a problem you're trying to solve or you're writing a speech, your mind then finds itself in room number 2 to say, great work. What's the great work out there in relation to what I'm trying to solve? And then suddenly it finds itself in room number 3 of room of precedence, whereby out of, say, 20 things that you said, these are really great. I like the color of this. I like the corner of that. I like the green of that. You take those 10 elements and now you find yourself in room of precedence where you've taken just 3 of them as a room of precedence. Now you find yourself in room of precedence, where now there's a precedence behind it. And next thing you know, you find yourself in room of not knowing, where you don't know. You don't know what you're doing. But you're experimenting. You're asking people for feedback because you're trying to get that feedback as a result of not knowing what it is you're doing, but you're actually doing something to try and solve that problem. But the next thing you know, based on that feedback that comes back to you, you find yourself in the room of craft. Now you're crafting. Now you're crafting because that feedback is helping you improve and refine the solution that is starting to crystallize. So when Kabavovo said the mind is always busy, yes, the mind is forever busy. And how do you distinguish the difference between thinking and meditation? And I think that's a great question. That's really a great question.
It's a good one. We will try and respond to it as directly as possible. Remember the definition of meditation again, Kabavovo. I said Ukuzindlanzulu Zulu. Let me ask you before I continue. When you say uyazinja, what does it mean to you as a Zulu speaking person? Yini ukuzindla? Before we get to the Zulu part, but ukuzindla, what is it?
uKuJula ngomcabango.
uKuJula, to go deep in thought, right? So uKuJula ngomcabango, it's called ukuzindla, right? Now, you must understand that the word ukuzindla is also associated with the word ukuzinza. What does ukuzinza mean?
Ukuhlala entweni ungasuki, like it's like you sit on a thought or on a certain thing for a longer period.
Exactly. So now Ukuzindlanzulu nokuzinza are all related. Now you said ukuzinza is to be established. It's almost like establishing it. When you say uSpanbani uzinze in a particular place, it means they built their house there, they are established there. So right. But now this takes practice, this takes work. If you're building the house, you get the materials, you get the right conditions. If you want it to be not facing, it's not facing. If you want the air to flow from this side, if you want to see the sunset this side. So ukuzinza kwakho, there's thought put into it. Similar with meditation. There's thought put into it, but in the beginning I mentioned also that meditation, you must get to a point when you are learning and practicing meditation, because it's a daily practice. You must get to a level whereby you don't think about it too much. Because the moment now you start to think about this too much, it becomes stressful. Overthinking is another level of stress. It's just another room of stress. So, but it sounds ironic and it sounds paradoxical to say, think deeply, but don't think at all. Right? So it sounds like a paradox, but it is not. It means that you have practiced this form of ukuzinza to the extent that you are still. You do it in stillness. One of my favorite albums, excuse me if I'm digressing, one of my favorite albums is Jamiroquai's album called Traveling Without Moving, right? That album for me is about meditation. It's a dance album, but it is talking about traveling without moving. It's a form of traveling that you can do mentally. It's a form of traveling that you can do spiritually. It's a form of traveling that you can do while you're dancing. It transports you. A certain practice transports you to a certain state of being. So to achieve that inner peace, to answer your question again most directly, to achieve that inner peace, you have to practice ukuzinza. You have to practice being in one state. You practice being in a particular place. Now, this touches a bit on something that Vusi will forgive me for saying this, but you see, as Abantu, because I don't want to be religious at all. As Abantu, we have something called Umsamu. Now, Umsamu is the home shrine. It's a shrine of a home, right? I won't go into the details of it. But the reason why we establish Umsamu is so that we have a place to go, one place to go in a house that has got a TV, that has got a library, that has got a playroom, that has got a place to eat, that has got a kitchen, that has got a place to sleep, it's got all these different places, all these different, sometimes it's one room, but it has all these different functions, but we don't have a single function for spirit. The moment we don't have a function or a place or a set space where we practice our spiritual centeredness, then we are unhinged from the natural order. We are unhinged because you see, Umsamu is that, but it's also a place where you go and connect with the people of your lineage. Some people call them ancestors. I just call them people of my lineage, right? My lineage of people, they practiced a way of living. There was at peace with nature. There was at peace with various things. Some people call that a religion. I say that is not a religion. It's just acknowledgement. So in order to achieve that inner peace, lastly, to achieve that inner peace, you have to understand that Umsamu also can be established in yourself, not in a particular room. Your very being is made up of many aspects, many layers. But you must have a space within you that you dedicate to yourself. Your time is taken by work, your time is taken by other worries. Your time is taken by entertainment. Your time is taken by your relationship, intimacy with others. Your time is taken up by so many other things. But when do you have time for yourself? And when you have that time for yourself, you need to practice boundaries. The outer world does not have. In my 5 minutes with myself, or my 15 minutes, nothing else matters but me. That's not narcissism. Narcissism is being here, but being with yourself is being here. Emsam, which is your heart. Baba Credo Muto speaks about the heart being the actual place, not Credo Muto, Baba Mazisigunen speaks about your heart being the actual place where the thinking happens, right? But in the Western world, people think here. But in the Zulu man from South Coast says when you think here, right? So you are feeling and you are being more than just thinking, right? So you achieve that inner peace through practice. Practice. Even myself, and also don't fight your thoughts. When you are sitting with yourself, being with yourself, don't fight your thoughts. Let your thoughts come, but transmute them. Bring them back to nature. When you say, okay, I'm thinking this, but is it natural? I'm thinking this, but is it aligning me with nature? Is it aligning me with my real being, with Umoya wami? Is it aligning? Is it making me breathless? If it's making you breathless, then it's not meditation. If it's making you not deepen your relationship with self and your divine being, then it's not meditation. So you basically keep it's sharpening, not sharpening, but it's kind of, you're working with yourself in order to become at peace with yourself.
So to answer Kabovo's question, what you're basically saying is that you need to distinguish between the two of thinking and meditation. And you have to be intentional. And you have to have a schedule. And you have to say to yourself, such and such a time, I'm meditating. This is my meditation time. And then such and such a time, I'm thinking. So it's almost like preparing to study for your exams.
Yes.
When you study for your exams, you know what I'm studying. Through the studying, I have to do all of these readings, I have to do all of these notes. So that would be kind of distinguish the two. Where meditation is specific at a certain time, and you know what when I'm going to meditate, I'm meditating. And when I'm meditating, I'm taking myself through one of the 8 principles. Whereby one of the 8 principles, be it Umoya or Ukuphefumula or Okwemvelo, they will randomly come. Whenever they come through, focus on one of those principles to be able to achieve your meditation.
Yes, and you are aligning them. And you can go one by one, or you can align them once you are an adept, once you reach a state of you're no longer a novice at meditation. You've been doing it for a year, for example. You know, it starts to become second nature. You know, it's something that you do. And as I said, when we close, we're going to do a little bit of breath work. See, the breathing part is of utmost importance, because we breathe unconsciously. We don't think about breathing, but we just do it, right? So in our breathing, in meditation though, you're not thinking about meditation, about breathing, but you are breathing with intention. There is a method of breathing with intention, and that helps your nervous system, helps your physical body, it helps your mind, it helps you to just become more intentional about what you are doing. And again, intention is not just about thinking about something. And I'm not discounting thinking. Thinking is good. We must think, but we must know how to think. You know.
You mentioned something that is a key word behind meditation, which is peace. Finding that inner peace.
Yes.
Finding that
elusive.
Peace. What was the Zulu word? What was the Zulu word you mentioned that signifies peace?
Ukuthula.
You mentioned it earlier on, but I'll go back. By the way, this session is recorded, everybody. So those who would like a copy of the recording, please do send us your email address, and we'll send it through to you. And then perhaps we'll also even publish it with people's permission. But yeah, this session has been recorded. So if you'd like a recording of the session, please do send an email. And wow, thank you so much, Menzi, Maseko. Much appreciated. It's going for our closing time. how would you like us to close it in terms of the practice of meditation? I must say on my side, a lot of it makes a whole lot of sense, where you have to be intentional. You have to distinguish between the two of thinking versus meditation. And when you're in that meditation, consider the 8 principles. And one of the 8 principles will come in randomly and focus on that. And as you're focusing on that, then your sense of being, a sense of peace, that energy will start transcending and you'll start feeling it yourself. Wow, Brother Menzi, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything or add on or have any questions before we switch to the closing? Zolelwa Sifumba. Yes, Zolelwa Sifumba.
Hello, everyone. Tamakumkulo. Thank you. Just to thank you. Just to thank you. That's all from me. Thanks.
Wow, thank you. Did you find it meaningful? Did you find it worthwhile? Did you find value?
Yes, a lot of value in it. And I love that it's IsiNtu meditation. I love that, you know, we're not here acting like meditation comes just from the East and from other nations that sort of package it to us and they're like, oh, you guys don't know how to meditate. When it's like, I think to myself, like, I take walks in nature and that's my meditation, you know? And so it's like, what do you mean we don't meditate? I mean, fine, we don't go to the classes, but, you know? So, and I love what you said in the beginning, Mkulu, about sort of we already have these ways, we know these ways of sort of doing and of being, but are kind of told, like from the West, that, oh, come and take this class. You know, this person is going to teach you these special things to get super closer to. And it's like, wow, guys, you know, so
we know
it's
this
just,
you know.
yeah.
Beware of the gurus. Beware of the gurus also.
Yo, these gurus. Sure.
Because you see, again.
And I love the way you connected with hieroglyphics, Menzi. I really love the way you connected. You brought it back home.
Yeah,
but also you brought it back to the core.
And hieroglyphs are not foreign to us. We have siloglyphs. In Ethiopia, we have our silograph. In West Africa, they have the Anzibidi. And in Southern Africa, we have very different forms, you see. But as I said, that's a different level. We are talking now linguistics, we're talking art, we are talking our different forms of cosmology and communication. But when we say, I like what Dr. Zolelwa is speaking about when she says that it's these things are not foreign to us. You see, we have to understand. I mentioned Nkuluma Sisigune, who writes short stories and poetry. His short stories and poetry are forms of meditation. He takes us back to a history of ourselves where we were at peace with ourselves before we were disrupted by foreign powers and foreign concepts and foreign everything, including the foreign language that we are speaking. Right. So it's important that when we're coming to ourselves, when we meditate as ourselves, we are not starting something new. We are not starting a new religion. We are not starting a new practice. We are going forth, not just going back. We are going forth into the best selves that we can be. I want to say this one word before we take maybe one other comment. I see a hand up. I want to say this one specific Zulu word, which is a very difficult word for many people to understand, even amongst Amazulu. A lot of people don't use it anymore. Last year, it's contextual. Last year, I was a speaker, a guest speaker at a art exhibition, a photographic art exhibition by my sister, Mandis Abteles. And it was called Mgongweni. So now, in my speech, this Umgongo, in a nutshell, so that I don't spend too long, Umgongo is a state of going into seclusion. Now, we must remember that as African people, we have rites of passage, we have ceremonies, and most of these rites of passage and ceremonies have been removed from us. They've been replaced with labor. They've been replaced, I'm not talking about labor pains, I'm talking about slave labor in a plantation when we are working to survive. Now, we are not supposed to be working to survive. We're supposed to be working to live. But we don't work to live anymore. We work to survive, to stay, to keep our head above the water of capital, and just barely survive, right? So, is a state, in the context of Mandisa's photography, was talking about especially the girl child in the African setting, that it's important for the girl child to go to a particular rite of passage where she's set aside and taught by her grandmothers and other women in her home setting, as well as village setting, about just the vicissitudes of being a woman, just the basic things of just being a woman. You know, from early stage to late stage, you go through this thing, but we don't have Umgongo for men. Now, I posited in my speech that day that there is supposed to be Umgongo for men, for young boys too, where boys are taken not to the mountain only for just a physical, what you call it, circumcision, but for a psychological, spiritual, physical circumcision, where a boy is taken through these steps. All I'm saying is that Ugukhululeka and meditation are very similar, because Ugukhululeka is to go into a quiet space where you're not disrupted by any other thing. You're not required to go fetch water. You're not required to go hunting. You're not sent anywhere. You are given space in your lifetime, once in your lifetime, to concentrate on you. You are given space to, the boundaries are created by your culture. But now the culture that we have does not have these boundaries. Our children wake up, they are on their Facebook, they are on their tablets, they are on their technology, they are on their this, they are on their want. They want this, they want that, they want this, they want that. But they don't have time to just look at the sun, to just, wow, the way the wind is blowing on those trees. Wow, the way this cold, there's something beautiful about this cold weather today. Oh, there's something beautiful about the way it is so super hot today. There's something beautiful about the way that thunder did not strike my house. Where did it strike? You know, just to wonder and contemplate on things that have nothing to do with what you have to gain. So these are very, very important, Makos.
Siyabonga. Thank you so much.
Makos.
Bakhona nomkhulungezi.
She can
Yes,
speak
sir.
her name. She can speak her name. Let her speak her name.
Yes, ma'am. We acknowledge you. Yes, ma'am. Please
We
speak.
acknowledge you. You can speak.
You can speak.
I don't see the name, but the hand is up. You can speak.
The hand is up, Ma'am Connor. Yes, Ma'am Connor. You may speak. I have unmuted.
She's gone. You're mute. Just press your mic. Nomkhulunkulukazi, we are waiting for you to speak, and we are about to close.
Yes, okay, yes, now we can hear you.
Sorry,
now.
It was something with my my microphone, so I had to go and activate it. It was not activated. I am so sorry. I came to this class very late. It's because of time difference. I think next time when Menzi is doing these, he should tell us in advance, some of us who are abroad, so that we calculate the time difference and know when we should be up for such things, because I believe it's important. Because I'd missed most of it, but what made me want to share, it's adding on to Usisi that has just spoken when she was talking about you know, these things that people misunderstand this meditation as people that you're supposed to go and sit in classes and do all those body things that they do, or go
contortions.
Yes, yeah. But yet, when we look at the root word of that, where it came from, it is a Bakalanga word, woga. Woga simply meaning alone, meaning that this spiritual journey, you take it woga, you will be alone but going inwardly, using what Menzi has also said, using that the Zulu word ukugokwa, which is the same thing, because it's like you're being turned inside out. That death of the physical, that the death of that physical, it is also there for boys. It's just that now we're picking on things from where IsiNtu sethu, where now is Nyizinto, you know, like, oh, let's protect the girl child.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is
Gender biases.
yes, gender bias, but we have to balance all that, because we must understand that the feminine goes with the masculine.
Absolutely.
I cannot just be feminine and then throw away my masculine. I'll be throwing away my netjereketes who are males. I'll be throwing away omkhulubami namagedla ami who are males. So that has to be balanced. The balance comes from that the woga alone journey. That wedwa. Uskoka wedwa. With wisdom that you would have even found from your grandmothers, your forefathers. That's why those are things that we used to call inganekwane, ingoko. From that ingoko, that's where we got that word utiko uti. Yeah, it's part of meditation. Ute uti, yeah, that's why we've got a netjerekete called Nete, the mother of all mothers and the father of all fathers and Bantus, us.
Can I catch on to something that you just said?
Yeah,
can I please let on to something? I won't go long.
Sorry, Naming here, Kolisa.
No, Kolisa. Umfowethu is very strict about time, but I want to mention this thing. This is very important. You see, you mentioned the great mother called Nete. Now, the Greeks call her Nate, right? Now, I was explaining the word Ubuntu, and in many podcasts, people keep trying to find out what IsiNtu means. Now, people must understand that there's a lot of information on the internet, there's information in the books and all that. But some of these things that we hold as sacred as Bantu people, they're not things that we just like to just talk about in their fullness, in the front of everyone. They are home things. They are our personal things. They are things that, yes, they have to do with Umsamu Yetu, which is our family line, our bloodline, So when you say Nick, there's a word called Ugun in isiZulu called netezeka. Now, ukunethezeka is to be comfortable.
Yes.
Now, you cannot be meditating and you are uncomfortable. You cannot be taking your leg and putting it over your head and say you are performing
you're comfortable.
and you are yoga. You see, those are the things that have come with the corruption of our ways. Now, lastly, I have to mention this. Not only is Nath an ancient, so they call it goddess. For us, it's not a goddess. When we say Ithong, we are not talking just about an ancestor of a person that has lived before. Not only that, no, that's one dimension of what Ithonga is. This word means great spirit. But great spirit means that this world that we are living in now, we are only catching up to something that our great ancestors have mastered many thousands of years ago. We are only reminding ourselves, yoga, which is to yoke back, to hlanganisa, that which has been disrupted. ukuze sinethezeke, so that we live in peace and harmony. Now, you must know this. Another benefit of meditation, IsiNtu meditation, is spiritual power. No one will lord it over you. No one will oppress you. Nothing will disrupt your peace once you get your sovereign spiritual power from yourself, and yourself, including your many selves that you work with. I need to say that. It's very important.
Wow, 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 wow. This has been very rich and very, very enlightening. Thank you so, so much. And yes, we'd like to do it on a regular, consistent basis. We'd like to find an appropriate time to do it, just for a good 20 minutes. We're checking to see whether Sunday would be adequate, would be ideal for people to log in. So we are testing the waters in terms of the most opportune time and the best time to share this wisdom, to share this knowledge.
We must steal Sunday from our people. We must steal Sunday back. Get
Our
people need to come back from the pulpit. Our people need to come back from the method. Methodism or Anglicanism. We're not Anglicanism. We're not Anglicans. We're not Romans. I'm sorry for being radical now for this, but we are Abantu. So Abantu have their day, Sunday or Monday or whichever day, and we must redefine these days and bring back. So I think Sunday is good. That's all I'm saying.
Sunday is good because that Sunday, is actually the days where one connects with whatever deity or neteru that they'll be wanting to, like amatongo, that you will be desiring to connect with, like such as onembete, wembete, unyembeza. Yeah,
I must say, I went to boarding school, so every Sunday was a situation of going to church every Sunday. So this session here has really enlightened me. It's really given me richness, especially when we're talking about ourselves, Bomzulu, our people, our Bantu people, and especially with the definition and understanding of each word, would say what it actually means. That is wholesome. That is really rich and wholesome. And for it to happen on a Sunday feels like a blessing. It feels refreshing, completely refreshing, I must say.
This was church itself.
Let's take Sundays back.
I was trying to avoid that word. I was trying to avoid that word. But it does.
Vusi, I have to say this. I said to people that we're going to strive not to remove people from their religion. You can hold your religion, but meditation does not remove you from your religion, but it returns you to common sense. So it is not Menzi or Vusi's aim to get people away from whatever religion has been chosen for them or that they have decided to choose. They must know also that some of those ancestors in some of these biblical stories, they also meditated. It's just that they want you to meditate in a particular way. We are saying meditate your way, don't meditate according to somebody else's method. You will learn as we go along that I'm going to just teach breathing work. But that breathing work, you can do it at any setting. You can do it elsewhere. I was telling Vusi that we are going to do, I'm going to stand and I'm going to do particular exercises. We're not going to do that today. We're going to do that as the days go by, at different days, in different sessions. With what's the good posture to do a particular meditation? But that posture, you can augment it your way, do it your way, as whatever is comfortable to you. You will find your way. Yeah, you will find your own way that is comfortable to you. Some people feel better standing. Some people don't like being on their knees. Some people don't want to sit down, So it's not a one-size-fits-all. We're not creating a religion. We're not creating a thing. We are just supplementing what you already have in your spiritual growth with a little bit more practice, which is IsiNtu.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I wanted to add on to the contact details.
Yes.
Everybody is welcome to contact Menzi direct, Menzi Maseko direct. I know he can be very, very busy at times in terms of accessibility. So maybe if one wants to schedule an actual session with him, we're going to set up a booking system so
Yeah.
that one can just drop an email to find out when he's available for him to avail himself. But yes, we are here. We're open. We're here. We're here to actually learn from each other and to engage, especially with that spiritual African warfare that we're traversing. Do you want to close up with the last 3 minutes? You made mention of the exercise of the last 3 minutes.
I'm sitting. If you are standing, you can also relax in your standing.
Okay, so are we doing it now?
Yeah.
Are we doing the actual exercises now?
Yes.
Okay, right. So what do we have to do?
Probably going to be less than 3 minutes, actually.
Okay. Okay.
But all you need to do is just sit and relax. Or if you're standing, stand and relax. And if you're standing, please, you'll have to maybe pat your legs a bit, just so that you are balanced, right? And just breathe. I will prompt you a little bit later how to breathe a little differently. But for now, just breathe. We'll take a silent breathing, free flow breathing for now. If closing your eyes works for you so that you're not concentrating on what Menzi looks like or what Vusi's handsome face looks like, close your eyes. Don't be distracted by Zolelwa's beautiful face or Menzi's grandmother's face. So now what we will do is when you breathe in and fill your diaphragm and your tummy with your air, with your breath. And when you breathe out, you let go. So you fill in, let go with your mouth. So you breathe in, let your air come in deeply. Hold, breathe out with your mouth. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go your shoulders, relax your shoulders, breathe in, breathe out. Relax your hands. If you are sitting, your hands on your thighs, close to your knees. Out. Relax your shoulders even further. Breathe out. I'm going to ask you to breathe in again. But when you breathe out, let go of the tension cycle from your head to your chest. Breathe in now. Hold. And now let go of, imagine your air coming out of every part of your body. Out. I'm gonna do it again. Fill your body with air. And the air comes out with all the tension out. So when you breathe in, you rise up. When you breathe out, you let go. In the next session, I will explain and I will do a more technical and more directed way of doing the very same thing that we've just learned now. We will do it with intention and we will do it, I will incorporate the 8 different principles and I will incorporate them when I prompt the breathing in and prompt the breathing out. We will first use our head. We will be thinking about Umphefumulo and what it is. Umphefumulo is, and Ukuphefumula, and Umoya, the airflow, and we will explain in the introduction again what Umoya does to you when you are breathing in and out. We will explain how Ukuthula is attained through proper breathing in and breathing out. We will explain Umsindo and the sound. The sounds that come in from your ear and the sounds that are happening in your body when you're breathing in. What are they and what do they do for you? And we will explain again emvelo, how is it attached to this, and uKuJula, when you are breathing in and breathing out, doing that. The first many sessions are going to concentrate on the breath work and how breath work connects you to these 8 threads, and how all of this leads up to Ugukhululeka, and how all of this leads up to Uguguyelwa Esimoyeni, to return to repose, to return back to the Osa state, to return back to the IsiNtu state, to return back to the state of being, which is just basically yourself being yourself and nothing else. When you walk out when you finish your meditation, you can still be yourself, but then you will be taking on other stimulations coming from elsewhere. But through the day, you will be keeping this thread that I did this, and I'm going to be doing this every day. And then when I'm doing this every day, I'm going to attain inner peace. I'm going to attain the state of being, which is my true self. With practice, you're not even going to need Menzi anymore and Vusi. You're going to be doing it for yourself, by yourself, and it's going to help you release tension, release anxiety, and gain that inner peace that is your natural self.
And I must say, I feel fulfilled. It works. It worked, especially after you mentioned the definitions and what they're all about. I just said to myself, Moya. And as I was breathing, I could feel it. I could feel it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Marcos.
I don't know about everybody else, but I could feel
Thanks
it.
for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Menzi, Maseko. Thank you so much for that introduction. And
which media spaces are we communicating this? Please tell the people where they will find the next adverts for the next Sunday or the next one or the next. Where?
Right, so yes, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn, currently at the Vision Communications Group, but at the same time, there's also under the Green Ankh stable, we're also consolidating the Green Ankh stable, but in terms of accessibility, you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can also email us for any queries. We're in the process of setting up that booking system as well so that we can send a request for a booking session. We'd like to do a program. We'd like to do like a 1 week or 2 week program as well early next year, where people actually come in and they attend for say 30 minutes at a time. And based on their feedback, we build it. We actually add value, and people must, be able to contribute their inputs, their reflection, their testimonies, their takeout from that transformation, from that program. So we'd like to also introduce that as well. But in the meantime, we're available online. And thank you so much for joining us and spending your precious time with us. Siyabonga. Thank you so much. We hope you found value in it. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you and hearing your feedback. Thank you. Siyabonga. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for connecting. What time is best for you, Mom? You mentioned the times on your side. Oh dear. Oh dear. Are you able to send me it? Okay. The connection, I can't hear you. Are you able to send me your email address so that we can communicate? Or
send you my email address. It's nomsakona @gmail.com.
Nomsakona.
Yeah, Kona is Kona.
Yes, ma'am. Nomsakona, yes, ma'am. Nomsakona @gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And what time would be the best time for you? Because you made mention of connectivity, so we take it you're not in the continent.
No, I'm not. So, like if you, let's say, if you tell me like, oh, tomorrow we're going to have this session at this time, then I work out what time it is here. So then I can sort myself out.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll keep you
Thank you.
posted.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your contribution. Much appreciated.
No, I thank you for welcoming me. It's my first time here, so thank you.
This is our first session, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yes, this is our first session. We keep on talking about it, talking, and eventually I had to call Menzi to say, Menzi, let's do this. Let's do an online session. Let's just get it going, and then based on the feedback from everybody else, we can build on it. Because
let's build on it. It's a good thing. I mean, like I just went to the group that I'm in with Menzi, and then I saw this post, and I just pressed on it.
Okay, I see. Is that what happened? Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah, they work, they work, Amatongo work in mysterious ways, Nabakdala. So yeah, let's do it.
We're connected. Maybe we're connected.
Yeah, so yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
I appreciate you too. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you.
Same
Bye
to
for now.
you. Same to you.